Hello again, friends. This is part 7, or journal entry 7, of my multi-level marketing journey. This is part of an ongoing series sharing with you my experiences in the multi-level marketing industry over a period of 40 years. When we left off, I had stopped Tupperware, where I was meeting with a lady who was a manager from Rialto, California. I lived in Riverside, California. I had to stop because I went in active duty with the Army, and I've already told that story. And for 4 years, I was in Germany, and I got back, and actually, I'm going to do a separate video on my military story because things happened in the Army. There was more rape and more sexual assault that actually got documented, and charges were pressed against those individuals. It was a big, interesting process that I'll tell in a different place. But as soon as I got out of active duty and I left, it was the day after Valentine's Day, 1989, I came on what they call terminal leave, and that's when you still have time left that you're getting paid for in your enlistment. So I had until the end of March 1989 that I was getting paid. And I went back to Riverside, California with Mom. You heard me talk about Byron, who I was engaged to. His mom. I moved in with her and his father because while I was active duty Army, my mother had died. She dropped dead on Mother's Day at the age of 58 with cardiac arrest. And I probably could have moved back in with Joe. I just kind of felt like it was not a good idea. And the thing was, my intention was I wanted to go back in selling Tupperware again as a side gig. And as long as I lived with Joe, I could not do that. And I'm thinking by this time, 1989, she died in May of 88. He was dating somebody else by this time. And by the end of 89, he was married again already. He's one of those men that he had to have a woman married to take care of him. Some men were like that. Anyway, and she outlived him because he passed away in 2018 at the age of 92. She was a widow. But anyway, that's beside the point. So I got out and I moved in with Mom, and I had my own room there. I started working for Mary Maids, cleaning houses, because earlier on I had worked for Service Master, and Mary Maids is a sister company to Service Master. Service Master's commercial cleaning. And so I went to work for Mary Maids there in what's now Moreno Valley. It was Sunnymead when I lived there earlier on, but by this time it was incorporated, separate from Riverside. It was Moreno Valley. So I'd go to work, and actually they had opened up a second office in Corona, and I started working out of there because it was closer. And I did really well with them, but that was a part-time job. So I needed to supplement my income. And I became a master cake decorator when I was in the Army. I was actually a champion master cake decorator. I competed at the Army level and won. And anyway, I did cakes on the side. I tried to get jobs working in bakeries, but I was never fast enough. They always wanted stuff put out low quality as fast as they could, like on an assembly line. And that's not the way I was taught how to decorate cakes. I took my time and I made like works of art. So I just did stuff on the side, but it wasn't a sustainable income. So I started Tupperware again. Now, the thing with getting off of active duty, I got off of active duty because I wanted to go on a mission for the Mormon Church. And I felt like that was what God wanted me to do. It's what I wanted to do. And I had to go through a lot in my ward to fight to be able to go. Because at this time I was 27 years old. And all my church leaders are telling me, you need to be getting married and having kids. You're really too old to be going on a mission. And I was like, who says? I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to do it. The Lord wants me to go on a mission. And so my whole thing with getting off of active duty was to get ready to go on a mission. Because my first sergeant, they denied me getting promoted to E5, sergeant, to use it as a carrot to dangle over my head so that I would stay in the Army active duty. But I wasn't going to because I knew I wanted to get out and go on a mission. And I had to save my money because you pay to go on these missions. The church doesn't pay unless you're really in a desolate way. And anyway, that's I'm going to save that for the Mormon story. I started selling Tupperware again, and this time I worked out of the distributorship that was there in Riverside instead of Rialto where I was at before with the other lady before my active duty time, that the lady I really liked. And see, by now it's March 1989. I know Tupperware has new colors because remember I said that they would change colors every year on purpose so that people would want to update the colors in their kitchen to keep up with the Joneses, follow these trends. And then they would come out with new products, lots of new products. And I knew that I could get my sister Sybil to have a party for me every month again because she wanted to change her kitchen out to match all the new colors. And I paid for my kit within, it was 2 or 3 weeks with having all the parties I needed to pay for it, so I didn't have to pay out of pocket, which was a nice perk. What can I say? And actually, now that I was in a singles ward at church, there were lots of young women like me who were wanting to get married, so they wanted to have Tupperware parties to get their hope chests together. Because Tupperware was a very popular product back then. I probably gave a Tupperware party every night, Monday through Friday. Yeah, and then this was crazy, was I'd work at Mary Maid's for 4 to 6 hours a day, come home, and if I had a cake order, I would make it and deliver it, go out and do a Tupperware party at night, and then on the weekend I had reserve duty. But yet remember how I said that they would allow a week's worth of extra duty allocations. So they have these slots available, and I would take them. And my employer at Mary Maid's knew this, and he'd let me take the whole week off so I could go work, because I was working full time when I was at the reserve unit. And the unit was in El Monte, so I was driving from Riverside to El Monte, like a 3-hour drive with the commuter traffic in Southern California. It was just crazy. And sometimes my boss at the unit would let me stay over at the reserve unit, and I'd pack all these quilts, blankets and stuff, and I actually slept on the floor in the office because I didn't want to do that 3-hour commute. It was just nuts. So many people do that. They still do that, and I just didn't like doing that. Anyway, so I was doing Tupperware, okay? And I did this until June. About June, Mom, she was a college professor. So when school let out, she would go to Idaho, back to her hometown, to spend the summer teaching up there for the summer, and that left me at home alone with her husband, which I just didn't feel like it was appropriate. And so I had a friend Mormon friend who I worked with at Mary Maid's, who let me stay with her for the summer. And I submitted my mission papers to go to the church. And that friend also, too, was really big with having Tupperware parties, and she had 7 kids and 3 daughters and 2 that were getting ready to get married. And so I had so many Tupperware parties I was doing with those guys, keeping very, very, very busy, that I was considering being a manager, except that I knew once I got my mission papers, it was going to be probably 2 months. Usually you get your mission papers, and then 2 months you go to the missionary training center in Provo. And so I thought, I don't want to get started being a manager in Tupperware until I get back. When I get back from my mission, I'll do it. That was my thought. I had plans, go on my mission for 18 months, and I'm going to come back and still sell Tupperware again. That was my big goal, besides going to college. No other career plan. And go back and work at Mary Maid's again, because I could. And I look back at this now thinking, God, I should have just went to college and got my college work done. I'd already had at least a year, but I was just living from point A to point B. I wasn't thinking ahead, okay? So that was, what did I say, 7-month period. And I got my mission call, and I got sent to Italy. It was the Italy Catania mission, which is Sicily in southern Italy. And that one, it was interesting because I took French in high school for 3 years. And I used my French when I was active duty in the Army because I got sent to Belgium on a temporary duty assignment. I made friends because I could speak French. And then I learned German because I got a driver's license when I was active duty and I bought a car and I went all over Europe by myself. And the church sent me to Italy to learn another language, to learn Italy and go into the belly of Catholicism to teach Mormonism. And that was when I started to have doubts about the church, thinking, because they say that it's the prophet that decides where they're going to send you, and he signs your mission paper. And I found out later it's just a stamp signature. It's not really his signature. Anyway, I did what I needed to do to get ready to save money up because I had to buy a whole new wardrobe to go over there. You're wearing business attire. And the women, you have to have skirts, they don't wear pants. You have to have good walking shoes because you walk everywhere. So my selling Tupperware was the fastest way to get in there and do something I already knew how to do and something I knew I could do well and make as much money as I could to get ready for that mission. And that was why I joined that time around, which was the third time in Tupperware. And then time to go on the mission, October 17th was the day I went. It was the day of the Loma Prieta earthquake in California, because I had friends that were living in that area at the time. And that's the end of that story for now, because then the next year and a half I'm in Italy preaching the gospel, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And then I come back, and then I get back in again immediately. And I'll go about that in part 8. So here we stop, October 1989. I'm 27 years old and going on a mission for the Mormon Church. So there was an 18-month hiatus. But I tell you what, I thought about, because I would go to somebody's house and they would have Tupperware, and I was like, oh, they sell Tupperware over here in Italy? Gosh, if there wasn't such strict rules about in the mission, I could sell Tupperware on the side. That was always in my head. Crazy. And that concludes my story, part 7 of my MLM multi-level marketing journey. If you liked what I've said today, please comment. If the story resonates, please please subscribe. Please hit the bell for notifications, and I will see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.